Imagine an empire so fierce, so absolutely relentless, that they didn't just defeat their enemies on the battlefield. No, they literally melted down the enemy king's currency, erased his entire legacy, and stamped their own victorious faces right over it.
Who were these absolute titans? I mean, who were these Deccan warriors standing like a wall of iron, holding the line, and literally stopping massive foreign invasions from pouring into southern India? Well, take a breath with me, because today we are going deep into an explainer of an ancient era that was quite literally written in iron and blood.
Part 1, the forgotten Deccan superpower. Okay, let's dive into this. When we usually talk about ancient Indian superpowers, the Maurya or Gupta empires tend to steal all the spotlight. We see their names everywhere. But while those empires had these renowned golden ages of peace and massive expansion, we're looking at something completely different today. We're looking at the gritty, war-torn reality of the Satavahana Empire.
Unlike those more peaceful, philosophically driven eras you might already be familiar with, the Satavahana reality was forged in continuous, bloody warfare against some seriously formidable foes. This wasn't an empire built just on quiet diplomacy, not at all. It was built on sheer survival through centuries of brutal, relentless conflicts with highly aggressive rival states.
Part 2. The Great Kshatrapa Threat.
So, to understand a truly great empire, you really have to understand their greatest enemies. And the Satavahanas, they were surrounded by existential threats. Up to the north, you had the Shunga Empire. But the greatest danger actually came from the west. These were the Scythian Saka rulers, also known as the Western Kshatrapas. And specifically, we're talking about a remarkably powerful Saka king named Nahapana. Now, Nahapana didn't just attack their borders. He went straight for the jugular. He captured key Satavahana trade routes, completely crippling their economy and bringing this mighty empire to its absolute knees.
Part 3. Satakarni's brutal revenge. But hey, you don't keep a superpower down for long. Enter the greatest Satavahana emperor, Gautamiputra Satakarni. He looked at the absolute devastation Nahapana had caused and launched a decisive, unimaginably bloody campaign to crush Nahapana's forces entirely. This wasn't just some strategic pushback, okay? This was absolute brutal revenge. And what's really interesting here is the sheer staggering scale of his victory. It's just unbelievable. We are talking about millions, literally millions of silver coins that had belonged to King Nahapana were completely recalled by Satakarni. I mean, just think about the logistical nightmare of gathering millions of pieces of enemy currency in the ancient world. And why did he do it? To overstrike them with his own royal symbol. It's masterful psychological warfare. It was the ultimate humiliation of a rival. This legendary collection, which historians call the Jogalthambi hoard, was actually found centuries later, perfectly preserving the exact moment Satakarni erased Nahapana's face from history and stamped his own supremacy right on top of it. It's a massive flex.
Part 4. The endless tug of war.
Because empire building is kind of the ultimate Game of Thrones, right? Just when you think the board is cleared, a new player strikes. The borders on the west and the north turned into this relentless, high-stakes battleground, an endless tug of war where one single mistake could mean the complete annihilation of the empire. The Sakas retaliated fiercely under Rudradaman I, who was undeniably one of the greatest military minds of the ancient world. In fact, he actually defeated the Satavahanas twice in pitched open battle. So the crucial point here is the ultimate resolution. The Satavahanas were entirely at his mercy, and they were only spared total destruction due to a strategic matrimonial alliance. Politics, quite literally, saved them from the sword. Now, this constant, brutal, edge-of-your-seat tug of war did something absolutely fascinating to the Satavahana military. It forced them to evolve or die. They innovated, they perfected highly effective guerrilla tactics to harass larger invading armies, and they deployed this devastating heavy cavalry that could just shatter enemy lines. They basically became the ultimate mobile fighting force of their time.
Part 5. Shield of Southern India.
It is just incredible to think about what all this bloodshed actually achieved. Let's take a step back for a second, take a breath, and really reflect on the massive legacy of the Satavahana Empire, because they were way more than just conquerors. They were the literal shield for southern India. Because of their relentless martial spirit and because they were willing to endure centuries of being a buffer state engaged in total war, they successfully protected the southern half of the Indian subcontinent from massive foreign invasions. They stood their ground, and they ruled for over 4 centuries, which allowed distinct cultures and trade in the south to flourish safely behind their protective wall. So, I leave you with this. What do you think about their war tactics? Was their brutal psychological warfare and absolute ruthlessness justified by their vital role in protecting an entire subcontinent? I want you to really think about that as you consider how history is actually shaped. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious, keep exploring, and I'll see you next time as we uncover more epic history.